2025, 5:30 p.m. First item on the agenda is the roll call.
George Gonzalez, Rudy Martinez,
Here.
Carlos Alanis,
Present.
Michael Pacheco, Javier Garcia,
Here.
Jaime Villarreal,
Here.
Myla Anderson, Ricardo Medina,
Present.
Rocky Benavides.
Here.
Move to excuse absent members.
So move.
Do we have a second? It's been moved and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. Motion carries. Item 2 is administrative report, approval of the minutes for April 1st, 2025, regular call meeting. Do we have a motion for approval of the minutes?
Pues si nadie se va a mover, hijo.
Moved by Jaime. Any second? Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. Motion carries. Item B is status report, the revenue and expenditure history summary report through the month of April 2025.
Good evening, everybody. Will Borowski, Golf Course Manager for Terra del Sol. For the month of April, we had revenues of $80,965.01, offset with expenditures of $82,840.60, leaving us with a negative variance that month of $1,875.59. For the year at a negative $33,717.62.
That's a great financial report, Will. You compare that to
April
last year, that's a big improvement.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for all your hard work of all your staff and yourself. Great job.
Thank you.
Any comments from the board? If not, do we have a motion to approve the report?
Bueno, ¿están mudos los demás o qué? Rocky moves.
Second by Jaime.
Yes.
Any discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. Motion carries. Item C, the status report for golf course, pro shop, and the kitchen operations.
Okay, staying on the numbers as we just discussed, in comparison of April 2024 versus April 2025. Rounds of golf, approximately 216 rounds more were played in the month of April versus the April 2024. As you can see, these sales, as a result of the additional 216 rounds, were increased. And as you can see, some of the strengths of that month were obviously with the increase of play, we had more green fees of 3,900. More merchandise was purchased, 2,500. More beer was purchased, $575 worth. And we had more club rentals, which is all kudos to our staff and making sure that everybody has a set of clubs that goes out and play. So those were the line items there that that made the increase higher for April of 2025.
So that Friday night tournaments, sundowners are selling a lot of beer, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tremendous event. We're averaging right now about 32 players per event. We've had as high as 44 players. Our first event was the smallest at 24, and it's progressively gotten bigger as high as 44. So right now we're averaging about 32. So it is a good producer of that number there.
Yeah.
That does contribute up there.
Yeah, no, that was a good move, Will.
What was the number that players on when we had it before? Was it on Wednesdays that we had it?
4?
If
I'm
you
not
could,
kidding. It got so low.
So low.
It got really low.
Wow. Oh, it's a big improvement then.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I just think that having it on Friday night allows our folks that like to play golf to participate. I know that I spoke with Mr. Alanis here on the board, and he's interested in coming out this Friday night, bringing a partner. And Mr. Martinez here has played in almost all of them.
Yeah.
So it's been a great turnout and a lot of support from our community in the event.
Has he been winning? Mr. Martinez?
Mr. Martinez, I believe, is finished in the money almost every time. So,
That's
So
great.
There's bigger crooks up there or what?
No,
We
I know he's
actually
a
have
good
a-
player, man. I know he's a good player. That's-
we actually have a format there where there's the net division, which is kind of
Sure.
by luck. And so it allows players who have not played their best in the event to actually be competitive. And so, usually I like to try to pay about 30% of the field. So there's a good chance that you could come ahead winning, but we do provide a sandwich and beer
And beer, yeah.
prior to the event, and then we have food afterwards by our sponsor.
Yeah, that's why you're getting such good groups.
It's a great deal.
That's
Yeah.
great.
I
No,
played
no,
all
it is,
over.
it is.
Yeah, no, yeah. I played all over and nobody has that deal. It's a great deal.
Good job, Will.
Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on from the numbers. I ran a report recently that kind of surprised me, but about a third of our overall sales, we've sold just under $20,000 in golf balls this year. And so this slide here is kind of showing you I'm constantly running out of golf balls. So I had to reorder. So you can see how empty the shelf is there. All right. Some of our success, as we saw in the numbers, was as a result of our events. We had an event almost every Saturday. Here is our night golf tournament. So we do have a couple of clips here. It's kind of fun to watch because the balls do glow in the dark. And this is behind the 6th green where we can actually track the ball coming inward. So a little bit of commentary at the end.
A little long, but not bad.
All right, there you go. And the golf balls have different colors, and that one was kind of like a purplish color there. So here's another one. I'm a lot closer to the action on this one, and you'll be able to track the player hitting. He actually had his music going while he was making the swing. This is hitting toward the 9th green.
About love, a lot about living and a little about love.
Was it the Rotaries Club or one of those clubs, Commissioner, that had a night?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
had a
Rotary.
night tourney.
Yeah, it was the Far Rotary.
Yeah.
So what they did is they had 9 holes around 4 o'clock, and then they stopped, ate dinner, and then they began at sundown, the 9 holes there.
Oh, okay,
So,
so it is the,
yeah, the Rotary Club. Yeah.
Can't even hit it during the day, but it's less at night.
and they don't go too far either.
Yeah, the glow in the dark balls are very limited flight. Probably go 50% of what a normal golf ball was. So on like number 8, people were hitting driver on the hole because to hit a ball 200 yards is really hard. What happens is these glow in the dark balls, you ever seen them? They're plastic and they have like an insert where you insert the glow stick into them, and so they're not terribly aerodynamic, and so as a result they don't fly as far and they're very heavy actually. All right. As mentioned before, Little Caesars is our sponsor for our Sundowner. I need to give them kudos here. They've come through big time in all of our events, so they've been a good partner with this Sundowner sponsorship. Okay. Moving on to some other areas of our presentation tonight. Before and after pictures. This is the 11th fairway. All kudos to our groundskeeping staff here, of course. This was right here. You can see the fairway on the left before we began aerification and fertilization. And it's not quite the same angle, but you can see there on the 11th fairway how things have turned around. Moving on to the next slide, which is probably the most dramatic. Yep. This is the 18th fairway. And as you can see, this was prior to aerification and fertilization. So as the plan goes, as the turf continues to improve, the roped off areas will be made smaller. And perhaps if you can tell that I'm standing about where the ropes were when I took the picture on the after picture here. So it's moved up 5 to 6 yards of improvement. So as it continues improving, we'll continue to move the ropes in closer. And again, all kudos to Mr. Benavides here and Lowe's, who helped us obtain 3 miles worth of rope that have really made a huge difference in our golf course.
Thank you, Roger.
Okay, this is some of our Turos projects, or what I'd call our summer projects. We're doing this on Mondays. The before pictures, although we've tried to recover all of our greens the best we can, it still needs some work. So the picture on the left is we have these sandy soiled areas that just have not recovered scarring from when we lost our water and the back 9 greens didn't get there. So this is what we call grafting, where we take a piece out of the nursery in the back and plant it in like a puzzle piece. And it does require extra watering and attention to grow, but it's our hope that to help speed up the healing process of the greens versus letting it grow naturally. Okay, something we started is, in order to achieve this, we are going to be closed on Mondays in June, July, and August. And this is an effort to make the best playing conditions as possible. It's allowing our staff to work without interruption and also not to interrupt other players as well. This grafting process is quite an undertaking, and it requires them to be out in front and in areas that do present some danger if people are out playing. Also, what we're trying to do on Mondays is, he's not here this evening, but our assistant superintendent has a lot of experience with irrigation, and we're planning on really getting the golf course wettened now that we would have access to it solely. And it's going to bring the soil temperatures down and create that green and that growth that we're hoping to. Once Arturo and his staff complete the grafting of the greens that will be ongoing, we'll move and do the same process with the fairways on those open areas that are open larger, not so much the spotty areas, but more areas that are like simple round areas that can be, we'll use the turf cutter and cut out large pieces and put them out in the fairways there, and try to get those areas recovered in the fairways.
An example of that would be the 17th on the left side by the palm tree, where you have a big old spot there that nothing grows. That's the type of work you guys are going to do?
Correct, absolutely. And our focus, again, Mr. Villarreal, is to focus in on greens first and then fairways.
Right.
So,
But the fairways, yeah.
yeah. So if it's get the greens first and then the fairways. So we have identified a number of areas, and it's my hope that with this extra watering that we're going to be doing, that it will have to require less work to the fairways. They will start to kick in, and so I'm confident that either direction that we'll go, we'll see some success. So, and also it's going to allow us to fertilize as needed. And number 10, for example, is not recovering as fast as I would like. So we're going to probably aerify next week again in some areas there that have not taken in, and put some water and fertilizer in that area. And also, as point 8 here has little monetary impact. Last year, our June sales were only $50,000. So I'm confident that with what we're doing, we can continue to have high amounts of traffic to the golf course with our events, and we will exceed our sales numbers from last year. And lastly, this is a common practice. Most golf courses, where I came from, we were closed on Mondays and Tuesdays at Cimarron. McAllen Country Club closes on Mondays, and some other golf courses will close if not most or all of a day as well. So it's going to allow our staff to get caught up and get the job done that needs to be done during the summer while we can grow grass.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
And you plan to do this, the summer months? So it's
Only
about
on
12
Mondays.
weeks.
Only on Mondays.
So about 12 weeks, 12 days,
Correct.
actually.
Correct. 12 days. Correct.
Okay, here's my question to you, Will. For the yearly members that pay their dues ahead of time, are you gonna add 12 days to their,
That's definitely a consideration. I haven't even thought of that, but it's a great question.
Okay.
We could possibly do that.
it don't matter to me, I haven't played in months and I still have 6 months.
There you go.
But there are other yearly members that, would like to see those days added to their,
Right. Yeah, well, thank you for bringing that up, actually. So I'll consider that and maybe move forward with that idea.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility.
Instead of September 1, you pay September 12th.
Yeah, I think your idea has little impact and is in good faith.
Good.
But thank you for bringing that up. And the gentleman we see over here on the right, this is a gentleman that we're very proud of on our greenskeeping staff. He spends probably 7 to 8 hours a day in this position. It's true. So he is one of our irrigation technicians and very passionate about his work. And he really has helped us turn our golf course around with taking care of irrigation problems.
Cool.
What's his name?
Juan Rivera. Yep. He goes by Juancito because he's very small.
He fits in holes.
So last time we met, we didn't have a chance to really review the watering situation because we had just been flooded, and so we weren't planning on doing any watering for several days or weeks. And so what we discovered was we lost 4 of these control boxes, particularly along the canal side of the golf course. These things are very costly. As you can see, they're $12,000 each. So what we've done to try to mitigate our losses here is we had a spare one that we had in the back. We brought that in. We swapped out some of them that were not really in use, like on the parking lot. We can go without the parking lot. And other things that Arturo has done with our mechanic was we went through individually and seen what exactly was damaged. So I'm happy to say that we can apply irrigation to any part of the golf course as a result of looking after this. So, but you can see the one on the right got pretty well, it was underwater.
I didn't realize when we had all that water that it affected.
I'm sorry.
Is it what-
Where are these, Will?
Anytime you see the green control boxes,
But
they're
where
usually,
are they?
this is on 2, 3, 4, and 5, right there where
See, the green ones get done on the edge.
But can't we put them like somewhere that's not prone to flood or lift them up a little or a little
right,
bit
I mean,
more?
in these right here, they would have to be on top of the trees in order not to get flooded because, you
Yeah.
know,
Where they're at?
yeah, just isn't feasible. So, just one of those floods that's rare and hopefully we don't see again. So, but again, Arturo and the guys and the mechanic, we did our best to find replacement parts
Cool.
and really mitigated what we could ended up
The
paying,
expense.
what the true expense could have been. So all kudos to our guys in the back.
Sandbags around.
Maybe what Rudy's saying, sandbags around it when we think.
Expect a flood or something, would that help? Because that's $48,000 that, maybe Russia put some plastic sunbag.
Yeah, I mean, it would require a lot of labor to do that.
I'm just saying when we hear something's coming, not all.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to talk to Arturo, but I don't know if putting a big plastic bag over it is feasible, or what could be done. It's just, I'd have to check around, actually. It was just, we expected rain. And so
Not that much.
what we did is we anticipated, we finished up the aerification and dropped the fertilizer, and nor did we expect, the golf course to flood as it did. It was totally unexpected. So none of us were prepared for this.
How difficult is it to remove them if we had to remove them?
Yeah, these things are pretty bolted down. So
it'd be difficult.
yeah, see, they sit on a cement slab right there. They're bolted into the cement. So it requires,
And you're right, who would have anticipated that we're gonna get that much water? We don't plan for it.
right, exactly.
Get an engineer to work on how to cover them up.
There you go. I mean, maybe it's so. I mean, with Arturo's connections with the superintendent world, maybe people do experience this perhaps in more flood-prone areas, how they handle their control boxes getting underwater. But yeah, this is what an inside looks like. I mean, what happens here is I don't know if you can see it. I wouldn't be able to zoom in, but you see all those little switches, little toggle switches. That's 1 through 32, and the other side is 33 through 64. That way you could pull up an individual sprinkler head should you go to one of these control boxes. And that's how we were irrigating the golf course for, if you recall our November meeting, that's how we were irrigating the golf course was through a manual process. Thankfully, our assistant superintendent came back from FMLA, and we were able to, he has a good knowledge of irrigation systems, and so we were able to, now we've got automation on fairways, all but a few. Okay, more about flood damage. Here we had a sinkhole behind the third green, and that's Veterans Road right there. This, when I first saw this, I was like, okay, I'll just ask Public Works to come in and throw a load of dirt in there and we'll be fine and move on. But it was more of an undertaking than that. We have, as you can see, the middle picture has the blue pipe in there. That blue pipe is what provides water to everybody south of our golf course. So it required additional work. Okay. So right here we have the Public Works Department came in and they worked on fixing the sinkhole. As we can see, Director Marine is right here in the middle picture. This is a fairly challenging situation because with that utility pole possibly moving, we have the road, the bridge that goes over the golf course there. Veterans Road is in play. We have the water main right there. We also have a live gas line underneath there. So with a live utility pole up there, you can imagine the risk that is involved. So we may at some point see engineering revisit this area here to follow up on this. So I'm glad that Public Works was able to get us get this covered up and taken care of. More departments assisting us at the golf course. In the month of May was real tough for us equipment wise. The pump broke down twice and it's on its last legs, as we know, and we've done the right thing by getting one replaced or getting the replacement ordered. So anytime the pump goes down, we do have to use a backhoe and go through the ceiling, raise up the pump, and these are public utility staff that knew how to fix the issue here. And so they were able to get it fixed, and we were able to provide water to the golf course again.
How long was it down?
It was down a week.
A week?
Yep.
Oh my God.
So, but they were able to fix the part and get that repositioned and back in there. So it went quite a week. It was probably maybe 3 or 4 days. So it was a lot quicker than that. All right, more departments assisting us. Our tractor, our triplex mower, it's in bad shape. It's very rusted. It's probably, some people estimate 12 years old. It broke down twice in the month of May. And so we had to ask the Parks and Rec welders to come over and repiece it back together again. And this is Roy Barbie right here doing the welding. He's a great welder.
Do we have a backup for that?
All right, and right here you can see the welding that he's doing. next page. And then it broke down again, and sometime later, think of the blades that sit inside this mower as sitting like a ceiling fan. And so it broke off the ceiling of it, and so he has to weld it back in there. And you'll see this this action here.
Both of them. As soon as you turn call on, you said your assignment or whatever you need.
All right, more departments that we're working with. This is kind of like an entity of the Parks and Rec. It's called the Keep Fire Beautiful. Perhaps some of you are familiar with it. So we are fortunate enough to be able to be issued grant money to add plants and beautification to our golf course. This is one such area. And you can see Arturo there. So we came out, we planted about a dozen or so small plants. And as we continue to use the grant money, we're going to plant beautification plants around the golf course. In particular, we're looking at doing plants that repel or inhibit mosquitoes and also don't require as much water. So been real happy to work with the Keep Fire Beautiful personnel.
And where is this at?
This is right here in front of our right outside the restaurant. Yeah, this is right. If you're sitting in our restaurant, look out. It's right here between that and the putting green.
Yeah, I figured.
See the starter box?
So, and right there, if you're looking in the third photo, if you're looking that way, that's the starting building
Yeah.
right there. So they're little plants right now, and hopefully they grow and germinate and become bigger. All right, it's been about a month, or not a month, but about a year. And when the gate was crashed into, and work has begun on getting that fixed and up and running. So that is in process at this moment as well. So we'd like to be able to have both our gates working, not have one be set up with a barricade. So. All right, little report on the kitchen. This is something you may not be aware of, but in April, we served 180 meals to the inmates in the FAR jail. So whenever a person ends up spending the evening at the FAR Police Department, the food comes from our golf course to the inmates. So, and that's all I have for you. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, I'll turn this over to Arturo, who will give us a little insight to the groundskeeping of the golf course.
I had a question about whether Parks and Recreation had been helping you, but you already answered.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's those
They've
departments.
been very involved. I mean, they help us as much as we can get help with. They send us personnel as needed and equipment, and it's all I have to do is ask, and usually they come through.
Are you looking at replacing that equipment that keeps breaking on you?
Right, absolutely. Yeah, that triplex mower, got a quote for it, and I'd like to present that next time we have the funds to be able to replace it, because it's being held together by rust right now. It's so, I know that in one of our previous board meetings, it was identified and how much it is in bad shape, and we continue to pull through though and use what we got.
I think you need to make a request, because if it's breaking down, then often is I mean, even if we don't have the funding, we hopefully get the city manager to find some money for us to buy that. I mean,
Right,
'cause it's
absolutely.
needed. Okay.
Well, kudos to Sergio for helping out.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, Sergio is actually a very good partner in what we do. I meet with him on a weekly basis, and believe it or not, he's actually, we have some improvements, capitals. We had the golf carts, the extra golf carts, which are for our Turo staff to use versus using the new golf carts for them to transport around the golf course. The pump, we did make the deposit for the pump. And of course, the other equipment that we acquired that's made our golf course better. So it is a process, and it is in place, and we are certainly not ignored by as a dependent of the Parks and Rec department. So we are looked well after, actually.
Good. Okay.
Okay, so I'll turn it over to Arturo now to say a few words.
Well, my name is Arturo Lopez, Golf Course Superintendent. Okay, first topic we're gonna talk about, but as you know, we do our, cultural practices every 2 years to array the greens, so we did half an inch course, so we can pull the cords out, so we can put some top dress, all the amendments, top dress, fertilizer, and gypsum. So this way we can keep the greens healthy. So I think that's we've been doing a lot of improvements on the greens as well on the golf course. We also as well we arrayed the tee boxes. Also we arrayed the fairways, like as Will says, some of the fairways to recover. We've been spraying some of the weeds in the fairways and the colors and some of the goose grass, crabgrass around the colors on the greens as well. We've been trimming some low limbs at the golf course. We've been continue fixing leaks, I think the boys, like Will says, my assistant and Juancito's they've been doing a pretty good job, getting some of the leaks, get it fixed. Rick Martinez, he came, I think 2 days ago to do the PM maintenance in the pump station because he usually goes inside the panel and take all the controllers, and clean up, some of the filters, and some of the areas, inside the panel. And I think we have, like one pump has been running constantly, and that's because there's a fuse inside the panel. So I think it need to be replaced. A couple of the sensors inside the panel. He's going to send us a quote. But so far, the pump they've been, helping us, so far.
Good.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But also I think, I don't know, next week he's gonna send us, I think a draw, with the blueprint. I think it's gonna take like about 26 weeks after he do the blueprint for the pump station until he brings the new pump station to the golf course.
Okay. Sounds good, Arturo.
And one more thing, as you know, we get water from the water treatment plant. When those guys, they came and help us out, what's his name? Chendo told me I don't know if it's good to talk about it, but they need a pump, a motor, so they can, because they've been replacing that pump. They send us water from the water plant to the main lake, but the pump they have over there, he told me they've been replacing every day. So it's gonna be time. We need to help them to get a new motor so they can send us water to the lake.
Okay.
That's at the treatment plant.
Yeah,
Commissioner.
treatment plant. Yeah, yes.
Did you talk to Rosales or who you talked to?
Yeah, Rosendo is the guy is in charge of the water
Rosendo.
treatment plant. And I asked him to give us a quote, how much is the motor will cost, because if the motor breaks down, then we don't
You
have
don't
no
any
water. Yeah, so I mean, we work together, because they give us a water, for the golf course, So I don't know if maybe next time, maybe I'd like to bring him so he can talk about it, why
Let
he
me,
needs,
yeah, let me
Get the
give
commission.
the director a call and see what we need to do.
Yes, yeah.
So we can get together with city manager and work something
Yeah, I
out.
think it will be very, very important, to get, start getting a new motor for them. Yeah.
Okay, let me work on that. That's it?
Okay, yes, okay, thank you.
Okay. So do we have a motion to accept the report that's submitted?
Motion.
It's been
Rudy.
moved by Rudy, second by Javier. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Against, same sign. Motion carries. Item D is the board comments. Any comments from the board? If not, do I have a motion for adjournment?
I move that we adjourn.
Second by
Second.
Rudy. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Against, same sign.